Geoff Kaplan, game director.
Geoff Goodman, principal game designer.
We are here
to answer your questions about Overwatch. Can you go into detail about the world that Overwatch takes place in?
Overwatch takes place in the near future on planet Earth, a bright, hopeful vision of the future. There's also a lot of technology in the world. All of the cars, except for two, hover, and then there's two that have tires.
They're like old cars.
They'll be updated soon, one of these days. There's things like hard light technology, which means someone like Symmetra can literally build objects that have physicality to them simply out of light. But there's a lot of grounded, sort of old school planet Earth stuff there as well.
Has there ever been any balance changes that you really wish you hadn't made?
This is Geoff's. He has no regrets, I'm sure.
I mean, sort of. Really, every change is trying to solve some particular issue or to prop up a character in a specific way to keep them have their unique identity. So a lot of times when the result of that is maybe they're just overall too strong now, we don't want to just undo everything we did. So it's like, okay, well, that didn't quite work. We still kind of like what the direction is, so maybe we need a different kind of tweak or a different sort of overall power reduction to get them back in line. Luckily, we have this test realm. We can put stuff up and try things out. Actually, originally, Mercy's alternate fire, her damage boosting beam used to be 50% way back. It was really, really strong, especially because it allowed McCree to do over 200 damage on a headshot, so suddenly he can just kill everybody in one shot. We had reduced it to 30% at some point, later in development. But then we decided, maybe, things are different now. That was a long time ago. Maybe we can try it again.
Go ahead and go back
Let's try it again. It's PTR. That's what it's for. We try it again. Oh, that still sucks. Okay, we can't do that.
We should start tattooing ourselves like the Memento guy,
right to remember.
No mercy, 50% damage boost.
The other one, I think people in the office have heard me say a couple times, I feel like Genji double jump was my biggest regret in a way. It's super awesome and I love it, but man, that one thing makes him so difficult to balance because he's so everywhere all the time, and you kind of never want to be not in the air double jumping, so he's just this character who's practically flying in front of you all the time, and it's part of what makes him really feel nimble and great. So there's definitely a really awesome side to it that I love, but at the same time it's what a headache, this one thing which seemed innocuous at the time. Yeah, so the overall process for getting balance changes in is, first thing I do is I'll drop something in our internal builds so we can play test it right away. We get everyone to play it that we can and get feedback on it, especially if it's a much larger change, like the recent Lucio changes were pretty big. We have a very wide breadth of skill levels in our office, so that also really helps to sort of get different perspectives on it. And then once we're happy with, we think this is the right change, at that point we usually decide, okay, well, let's try it with the public. So we put it on the test server ahead of time. We usually get 2 or 3 weeks on it. It varies a little bit. And we read the forums all the time. We're getting direct feedback all the time from people in email. And so that gives us time to react as well as make little last minute tweaks. And then at that point, it's out.
Even after it's out, we usually have scheduled a certain number of either balance or bug fix patches that will follow any normal major patch. A lot of those patches get canceled because everything's fine. If everything's working perfectly, we'll never have to put out that patch, but we like to prepare for some sort of balance change to follow up something that we're trying on the public test region, or there's a bug and something's a little bit broken, and then we'll fix that in that patch.
I think live ops guys are used to me just going into the room and be like, when's the next patch? When can I get something in? What can I do?
And their office is right next to our office, which is nice.
I should just have a big red button that's just the panic button.
Important question. Who paints Roadhog's nails?
Roadhog's nails.
This is adorable. And I think the funny part of this is that you think that's paint on his nails.
Oh.
Ooh, it's gruesome.
Damn. All right. Very important question. What is playing on Torbjorn's headphones?
Survivor by Destiny's Child.
Oh, yeah.
What is the process that goes into creating a new hero?
Oh man, the process. It's pretty organic. It's not really we go through the spreadsheet or checklist and be like, okay, and what's next? I guess we get a model. It's
more art than science.
It is. We have an insanely robust tools system sort of in place that we can just try a bunch of stuff, because it's one thing to have something on paper and you're writing things down, I think this would be cool, and then we get it in game, even early form. We're like, that was a terrible idea. Why did you come up with that? But faster we can get through that process and just try new things really, really quickly, the faster we can actually get really good things out the door. So a lot of it just comes out to just rapid prototyping, iteration. There's probably, I don't know, almost 10 prototypes I've made probably that are still in prototype stage and didn't get anywhere.
Yeah. I think what we're in love with is this idea that a hero can be inspired from game design. You came up with Farah because she was just an awesome game design mechanic. We have heroes that come from the story that we think are really important to the story of Overwatch. I think 76 was like that. Ana was half that and half game design. And then we have characters that just come from our amazing artists. So Winston's a great example. Like, we just saw this picture that Arn had drawn of, we saw that and we're like, wow, look at that scientist.
A scientist.
He happens to be a monkey, but yeah. So it can come from anywhere, really.
Yeah. A lot of times I'll prototype something that's just like one mechanic. We've definitely had cases where we've been working on a particular character and try to iterate on specific abilities where, like, we know the package is almost there. We're like the 90%, and we just like can't quite get this last thing. Bastion's ultimate was a great example. We went through
Bastion
10 plus ultimates.
10 ults. Or Genji.
Genji was.
We kept making Genji, and then we just put him on hold, and it probably took like a year and a half to make Genji.
Genji was probably the longest stretch. We announced him really late. Before the game ship, but he is actually pretty early in development. We knew we wanted to make him. We had some early prototypes of intense frustration around stealth killing people.
Stealth killing Genji with katana only, melee that was deadly. And everybody who played Genji thought it was the funnest thing ever.
People you perched above your spawn room and just drop right on you. You're like, okay, well, I guess that was fun.
Oh yeah, he could perch.
Yeah, that was another thing.
I remember that.
Walls.
What is the meaning of the number 54 in Blizzard's games? On Bastion, if you notice up on his chassis it says E54. My wife and I used to play Minecraft with my stepdaughter, and my stepdaughter's handle in Minecraft was E54. And I remember this one time I was building this huge glass domed house, and this is when she was much younger than she was right now. And I'm building it, and she was all excited to run up, and she was doing something in the game. She's like, oh, I want to show you what I've done. I want to show you what I've done. And I see little E54 running at my glass dome, and she doesn't realize there's a creeper right behind her. And it just blows my entire glass dome up. So E54 was my stepdaughter's handle, and it was also her battle tag. And she also loved robots. So I told her, hey, we put this in, and this is like a small little wink to you to just, let you know that we were thinking about you. Now she's much older. She's a teenager, and she changed her battle tag recently, so it's not E54 anymore. And I asked her, I'm like, why did you change your battle tag? And she plays a lot of Overwatch, and she told me, she's like, I'm so sick of these Bastion mains. They drive me crazy. Are the heroes themselves flawed, or only flawed players?
Well, you're asking me.
No. Geoff, yeah. Come on, Geoff.
The heroes are perfect now.
It's you against 30 million people.
Right.
That's what this question is asking.
It's me and 24 heroes versus the...
Oh, okay. All right.
We
there
can
you
do
go.
it.
Okay, you've got a little bench strength. I'm on your side.
In a lot of ways, they're intentionally built with flaws. We wanted to build these characters that have these really powerful abilities, but they're not all supposed to be able to do everything. It's a 6v6 team game, so you're supposed to work together. Once you know the game really well and you played it for a while, you start to be able to see the flaws and what heroes people are picking, and the ability to exploit those flaws is what a lot of the game comes down to. So some of that's kind of intentional, actually.
Yeah. Like, you look at abilities like Roadhog's Reload or something like that. It takes a long time. You've got a limited clip and only 4 shots.
Exactly. And why are people flawed? Man, if anybody can figure that out.
That's beyond our pay grade. Yeah.
I think so. Does specializing in a hero matter? Definitely the strongest feedback we get on a particular hero is from the main of that hero. I think sometimes it can help to definitely have like at least a small cadre of characters you can play that you specialize in, or like a role if you're good at that, so you get used to sort of knowing where you should stand as a tank, or as a healer, how do you stay alive? Things like that are really important, but it could definitely get you in trouble sometimes too. If you have a couple of people who really want to play one hero, but those heroes don't particularly well together or work well against the enemy team.
Over-specializing.
Yeah, over-specializing it can be a problem.
So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer in Overwatch. Some people could be broad across the board. Some can go just deep on one hero. Like me personally, I have kind of my primary role that I specialize in, less of a particular hero and more of a role. And then I almost have like a secondary backup role. I'm looking more at my own team's group composition to say within those roles what will best complement what other people are picking.
Yeah. We look at the professional players play, a lot of times they'll kind of specialize in a couple characters, a couple heroes, and they're definitely in a role. But even that I've seen recently, a lot of times they've been switching roles too. Like tank or something will switch into more what they call a DPS role or something, or hit scan role, what they call it, which is sort of like a McCree 76, something like that. It's a very valuable skill to be able to do that as a professional player, because the game could change so quickly. I think being able to be flexible is really key to the game in general. Will Doomfist be the next hero? Doomfist would be sweet. I think it'd be sweet.
I think Doomfist would be super cool.
He's clearly shown his prowess in New Bonnie recently, so I think he might be a little OP if we put him in, but we'll see what happens.
Doomfist would purely be ranged attacks, I think.
Sniper of some kind?
Yeah, sniping,
probably.
and then I think magic. He would use magic and range attacks.
Who will be the next character released in Overwatch? I thought it was Geoff from the Overwatch team. That was the next hero.
No, we
That's
don't know.
down the line.
There's Geoff from the Overwatch team.
No,
right
don't do
there.
that.
Yeah.
No, you can't put this on me.
That would spoil all of the fun. So we're planning actually a 4-year ARG lead up to the next hero.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. We won't do that. I promise we won't do that. We'll have cool information out soon, and we would hate to spoil that for you. We've got to leave it a surprise.
It's going to be awesome. Promise that.
They knew. They're on to it. And no.